discussion for you about paying this $136.50. So I'll chat with you about that for a second. But remember, whenever I come on live and I do a little heart-to-heart chat, I like to encourage everyone to drop in the comments something that you are thankful for or someone that you're thankful for, because we like to encourage living in a spirit of thankfulness. So you guys, today is Saturday, June 24th, 2023, and I'm thankful to be able to, right now, I'm thankful that it's sunny outside, and I'm thankful to be able to go to this game later on this afternoon because my husband's work made it so we could go to this baseball game, and all of our adult children are going to go with us. So it was supposed to rain, and it's supposed to rain like all week, but I told Steve, I said, we could still just petition to God. I'm like, please God, let us have nice weather so that we can enjoy this, like a team building opportunity for my husband and his co-workers. And then we can enjoy this opportunity to just go to a baseball game and have fun with our kids, because, part of our budget is that we always want to encourage fun. So you guys, not only what are you thankful for, but share with me what fun thing you're doing today. Like I share with my investors, when they're doing like a cash out refi and they want to buy another property, I say, how much of that money, you've done so good, how much of that money are you spending for fun? Because if you're not having fun and enjoying life and enjoying like this amazing life that God has given us, why would your kids want to duplicate that? Or why would they want to go down that same road? So we always want to be responsible. We want to save to invest. And then we also want to spend time with having fun and then giving, right? So when you incorporate those things, you're good with your finances. Okay, so I want to share this experience that I just had. Oh, hold on real quick. Let me actually talk about Facebook stars. So one of the things I said when I go live is I'll share about Facebook stars. And so one of the steps I took was I was going to block out an hour a week to focus on that, to try to figure that out. And this week I was going to block out an hour so that I could upload, I could put my bank information there and see what that worked out, how that worked. And I was going to share with everybody every week about Facebook stars. So what I do want to share is that the hour that I blocked out was on Friday, but my husband, Steve, took off on Friday. So because I'm in control of my schedule somewhat, right? Mostly, like 80% of the time. Obviously, if I'm doing a real estate transaction and I have a closing, I'm not in control of when I close, because I show up to the closings and things like that. But, I didn't really, the things I had on the schedule for Friday were things blocked out like inputting the information for Facebook stars or some stuff with property management. So all those things I had scheduled for Friday, I could move to a different day because I am in control of my time that way, and my husband took off. So I'll give you guys an update on how that works out next week, okay? Because I schedule an hour every week, but when you're more in control of your time, you can tweak and adjust your schedule, So, okay. So I wanted to share this just in case you guys didn't know, because I didn't know, or did I know, or did I not know? But then it's also about positioning yourself financially, right? So that's where this chat comes from. So we sold a vehicle in October of 2022. And when you own a vehicle and you have the title to it and you sell it, there's a little portion on the bottom, there's a little clip on the bottom where you just, you write the date that you sell it, who you sold it to. Like you should do that. I didn't know that years ago, but you should fill that out and then you should give it to DMV, right? So I always like to take a copy of their driver's license front and back, and then I fill out that little slip that's on the title, and then you send it to DMV, okay? So we sold a vehicle in October of 2022. And in January, February, in March, I got a red light ticket for this vehicle that we sold in October of 2022. So in March of 2023, I got a red light ticket, and I thought, this is weird because I don't own the vehicle any longer, right? So I got this red light ticket in March 2023 for a vehicle that we no longer owned. So, you want to take care of those things right away. So I went into DMV and I gave them paperwork, and then and I said, we don't own this vehicle, so I'm not sure why I'm getting the red light ticket, because we sold it in October of 2022. So I also had them, because you guys, like we say, when you're trying to work on getting organized, because if you're going to increase your finances, you really want to have your documents and your paperwork organized in your different profit centers. But your personal files, that's an opportunity for you guys to practice. That's what I always tell my kids. What you're doing with your personal to get organized is practice for business building, right? And so I'm so thankful, because I am not the most organized person in the world when it comes to paperwork, and I was determined this year that my files were going to be in order, my personal files. This woman's probably wondering, I pulled over, you guys, to go live. It's like in our community pool area, but I was just looking for a spot before I get home, and then because when I get home I want to give Steve my undivided attention, right? And anyway, so I'm so thankful because I could go to this file right away. So I do want to encourage you guys to just even start now. Remember, you're not trying to make up for lost time, but you can block out time to make up for what files you need to do in the past, but you could start right now and say, I'm going to organize my files now. So that's one of the things I did. So when that happened in January, I created a file for our tickets, anything that I could grab a hold of, and I had them give me a copy at DMV. So I'm so thankful for that, because last week I got a letter from a collection agency for $136.50. So here's my question to you guys. Would you pay this $136.50? Okay. And so I called the attorney's office that this collection agency came from, and I explained to them I don't understand. So I do have to admit, I mean, I really think that kindness, I always say kindness is a requirement, but I probably wasn't so kind to the guy on the phone, and I actually want to call him and apologize, because at this point I was getting a little frustrated. So I probably hate to admit that, but I do want to call him and just apologize, because, you know, when we get mad, we can be really unkind, and it's not probably his fault, right? But I ended up, you know, going through to the management, and they said that they wanted to give me an email to send documentation to, and I thought, why should I have to go through all of this? I don't own the vehicle. I no longer own the vehicle. We sold it in October 2022, and I explained to him, I went in March and, you know, gave this documentation to DMV. So after yelling at him on the phone for a bit, which I really feel like does not honor God at all, right? And I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't his fault. So I ended up taking so I said, wow, I'm so thankful. I found my file right away. I grabbed the file. I went to DMV because it was Wednesday, and they're open until 8 p.m. And you guys, we never want to go to DMV on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. because they're literally, and this is not an exaggeration, sometimes we can exaggerate, there literally was like over 100 people in DMV. Anyway, I prayed. Just like I prayed today, you guys, I prayed, you know, just petition to God, because the things that we pray about are important to God, because I'm like, please, God, give us good weather today for this baseball game, right? And so I prayed, I'm like, please, God, while I'm sitting here waiting, can you please give me like somebody who can help me? So the person I got was not the person who could help me, but they were very kind and very helpful. And so this is what I learned, and this is what I want to share with you guys. And I also want to ask, would you pay the $136.50? So regardless of when you're watching this, if you're watching this live now, you watch a replay later, you watch this 10 years from now on YouTube or a different social media platform, wherever we put it, right? First, it's good to position yourself in a way where you have the freedom to choose to pay the $136.50. But after talking with this woman at DMV, this is what she said to me, even though it's a vehicle we do not own, right? We didn't turn in the license plate. So do you guys know that not only do you have to turn in that little slip at DMV, but the license plate? And I said, why do I need to turn in the license plate? Because every other time I've sold a vehicle, we just gave them the license plate because it had more time on it, right? And so what she explained to me, or I asked her just to clarify, are you telling me that the license plate doesn't belong to the vehicle? The license plate actually belongs to us because we registered it, which means if that license, if that tag, right? So the tag, if it had another year on it, which is why we gave it to them, because we figured they would go. And so what happened was it was an out-of-state buyer, right? But we figured they would put it in their name, but But until they do that, the tag still belongs to us. So she's like, she said, I don't know, we can write a letter, but you might still be responsible for this ticket. At this point, I'm thinking I just want to pay it. Steve probably doesn't agree. But at this point, and so I'm asking you guys, what would you do? Because at this point, I really don't want to. Now I'm going to have to go through the hassle of, okay, making sure it doesn't hit my credit, right? I have to go through the hassle of making sure if it does, they take it off. So at this point, I'm probably going to pay the $136.50, even though the ticket isn't ours. I'm going to wait. So the woman I spoke with, it just so happens that there's only one person in DMV who can take care of this, and she was on vacation until next week. So that was Wednesday. So they took my name and number, and I said, if you don't mind, I'd like to come in and see if I could at least talk to her. And she said and they said that there's one person at DelDOT who is the one who issues the ticket, who is the one who sent it to the attorney's office, right? And she said, when you came in March, ma'am, we sent them a letter, and so we don't know why it went to the attorney's office. And I said, okay, well, can I have that phone number? And they said, no, they guard the phone number. She is the only one who handles all of these. She said, you would be surprised how many people this happens to. So, which is why I'm going live, right? For one, just in case you don't know, like I didn't know, that the tag really belongs to the person. So when you sell a vehicle that you own, you want to turn the tag in. And so one of the suggestions that she said was that when somebody buys a vehicle from you, meet them at DMV and then have them get a temporary tag, but you should turn the tag in. You shouldn't relinquish that tag to them. But I'll tell you, Steve and I have bought vehicles where they let us have the tag, we drove it home, and then we went and took care of it. But if somebody doesn't take care of it, it becomes your responsibility. So there's a possibility that this might drag out, and it's still going to be our responsibility. So I'm probably going to pay the ticket. I don't think my husband wants to. So, but would you pay the ticket? I'm still going to go next week to do a follow-up, which takes more time, right? And at this point, I don't even know how much time we have left on that tag. She said I can ask all those questions next week, and that woman will make a phone call for me. But so that was the reason, you guys. Now here's the other thing. We're in a position where we can pay the $136.50, right? Just like I've shared the story before, getting in a certain place financially and improving your quality of life. One of it is, what does your emergency fund look like? How much are you setting aside to specifically to build wealth? How much are you setting aside for fun money, right? But I shared before, when Steve and I would have a flat tire, it just felt so stressful because we didn't have money. And then one year we had a flat tire, and Steve said, you know what, we need 4 new tires. Why don't we just buy 4 new tires? And we had the funds to do that. So, keep improving your quality of life. Keep positioning yourself so that when things happen in life, I could have prevented this by turning in the tag. It's something I didn't know. So I hope that this information does help people who are listening to it and who might not have known this information, but the tag belongs to you, not the vehicle. So if you sell a vehicle, make sure you turn in the tag. But it's also nice to be in a position where I can say, I don't want to pay it, but I can say, well, we can pay it, and it might just be worth it for me to just pay it instead of having to put all this time through it. I still do want to check to see, to make sure that, to find out how much time I have left on that tag. But at the end of the day, I might just end up paying it, right? So what would you do? Would you end up paying it, And then I just want to leave by encouraging you to keep positioning yourself and financially, and improving your quality of life. So when circumstances you feel like are beyond your control happen, it's not the financial part that stresses you, right? It's not the financial part that stresses you. And then also June, you guys. So in the month of June, our challenge was keeping receipts and gas receipts and household. And so, I love you guys, which is why I'm doing that, because I really don't feel like doing this tedious work of keeping receipts. But I did tally up my receipts yesterday. So that was the 23rd, which means we have like 7 days left in the month. And I budget $1,000 for Steve and I for household food, going out to eat, stuff like that. And we were at already $900, which means I might have to adjust that budget. The reason I might have to adjust that budget is because that's an area that Steve and I right now, with working the way that we work, we don't want to have to be concerned about being as frugal as we used to be in that area. So I might have to, but I do want to keep track of it, because if That's how I measure and know what's going on with the economy and inflation, because we create a realistic budget. And for us, remember, the realistic budget is having a cushion in these categories. So when I budget $1,000 a month for Steve and I now, that's also, if we go out to eat with our kids, we're probably paying. The other thing too is I like to tip better. I used to be a server, and I like to tip good, and actually I was just talking to someone who got a $35 tip this week from her client, and it made her feel amazing. And I said, see, that's what happens when we tip people good. It makes them feel amazing, right? So position yourself financially so that you can tip well. Position yourself financially so you can be generous where you want to be generous. You get to choose, because you're the one who disciplined yourself to position yourself financially better so that you can keep improving your quality of life. Okay, so this is probably, this is probably long now, but I'm gonna go, you guys, and working on going live every day, and I'll let you know what's going on with the stars. But as always, from my heart to yours, may God bless your efforts to be physically and financially healthy and strong. Love you guys. Mwah.